Hello, beautiful creators. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another episode to help you raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Has anybody ever said to you, oh, just let it go? Have you ever found yourself really irritated by how they seem to oversimplify whatever it is that you're not able to let go? I know for me, 15, 20 years ago, that was a really annoying statement because I had no capacity, no social emotional awareness of what it meant to truly let something go. So it is fall here, 2021, and we certainly can look around us and see all sorts of evidence in nature of letting go. The trees very easily let go of their dead leaves every fall, in full faith, knowing that more will come in the spring. And I believe it's Lao Tzu who tells us to look to nature, that things are always as they need to be and taking care of themselves, and we don't need to worry about what is to come, that the trees trust that new leaves will come in the spring. And so we can look to the trees for a good example of how to let go. What I've come to let go is that, what I've come to realize is that letting go can mean the release of all resistance, doubt, worry, fear of whatever situation, person, or outcome is to come. And it's difficult to solve the problem from your head. We rarely are able to solve the problem from our head. We have no idea what those new leaves in the spring are going to look like. We have no idea what that next relationship is going to be like. We have no idea how our kids are going to turn out. We have no idea how our boss is going to react to that situation. There's no way for us to think through and figure out with 100% certainty that this is exactly how it's going to go. And so it's that fear of, what if I'm letting go of something that I really, really love, and it's going to be replaced by something that I don't. And it's that fear and it's the anxiety that is created over a situation we're never going to be able to fully anticipate. So to let go, what I'm realizing, especially today as I'm thinking through this for you and looking back on the situations in my life where I've had to let go, it's being present and not allowing my thoughts and my worries and my feelings to go into the future. And so when we can really fully be present and release those concerns in full faith and trust, that's when we can start to see some relief. We can start to truly initiate that process of letting go. Now, I'm going to say this all very, very carefully because all situations vary. All circumstances are different, and obviously the people who are experiencing them are very different as well. So I'm not minimizing something as serious as maybe the loss of a loved one or a death in the family. It could be as simple as letting go of a daily routine or moving homes, changing jobs. I'm overgeneralizing, so please realize that if you're dealing with a very difficult situation in life, something a little bit more on this extreme end, I don't mean to minimize your feelings or your perspective. And if you need help with that, as always, I'm here to work through some of those things. There's always going to be nuanced situations where you as the individual, your life experiences and your current state are going to require a more customized approach. So again, this is just a general how-to in hopes that it helps someone, and you can reach out to me if you need any additional help. So like I said, number one, I would say be present. All we have is in the here and now, and we are creating in the here and now. And when we allow ourselves to worry about the future or feel bad about the past, that's where we're creating anxiety of the future and depression for the past. So we really need to stay present and in full faith and trust that everything is happening for us, for our good, and that whatever it is that we're concerned about losing will be replaced with something even better, and that everything is a gift, that this is not punishment or torture in any way. But allow the emotions. We're going to feel it, right? Like, there's going to be remorse in the letting go. If it is something more serious, We have to allow the grief. We have to allow the sadness, not necessarily the worry, because the worry is when we start to allow our thoughts to go into the future and have fear over something we can't even begin to anticipate. And that's not healthy. But a mourning and a recognition and maybe even an appreciation for the beautiful things that we recognize we have to let go. Those feelings are very important, and it's healthy to sit with them for a time, for a limited amount of time where it doesn't become excessive and it doesn't end up hurting you. Sit with them and ask what messages they have for them. Love on them, and choose your thoughts very consciously. Be careful about the thoughts that you allow in, because it will create more of whatever type of thought that is, whether it's more sadness or more joy, more appreciation, more depression, more anxiety. We really have to be careful and choose our thoughts wisely, but at the same time allow those emotions to be processed, to be felt in the body. You have to feel it to heal it. So we want to remember to be the bridge and allow those emotions to pass through us. And as we sit with something, if we're feeling sadness, we're feeling grief, and we're feeling worry about losing something that we loved, that we're afraid of no longer having in the past, we can then transition that back into appreciation for what we love about that current thing that is passing, and appreciation for that. Next, I would say identify the story that we're telling ourselves. We need to remember that thoughts are not always true, that sometimes we project perceptions and stories onto situations that are not necessarily true. And so if you've gone through a breakup and you really loved that this guy was so cool and so hip, and he listened to the kind of music you loved, and he had groups of friends that you loved, that's not necessarily something that you're losing, that you're not losing the pieces of him that you admired. In fact, that was a gift, because it was the mirror to show you what you loved and what you could bring more of into your life. If it's a job, there's no way to know if your new job is going to be even better than the last job. If it's a new house, there's no way to know if you're going to get direct sunlight or if it's going to be as comfortable and homey. But we can have appreciation and thank you for the beautiful sunlight in my current home. And I really love this. And the more we focus on that vibration of appreciation and gratitude, the more we actually draw that to us. So we have to remember the stories we tell ourselves are going to be a part of creating those thoughts that create the emotions that make us struggle. So we have to choose those thoughts, choose our stories with intention and with positive perspective. And remember that the initial story that you identify when you kind of figure out what story am I telling myself right now, that likely has 20 other variations, 20 other perspectives that you could choose. And so find a new way to kind of come at it and see the highlights, the silver linings, and how you can shift your perspective. Reprogram those false beliefs. If the belief is because my boyfriend left and I will no longer have someone who enjoys this type of music, therefore I will be alone forever, and there's something wrong with me and I must be broken and no one's ever going to like me, and you end up going down this rabbit hole that's actually called catastrophizing. We have to remember that there's likely a false belief at the foundation of that spiral downward. And so that's, again, another opportunity, right? Another aspect of the gift of this situation that helps us recognize what is that false belief that needs to be corrected. So be very careful and analyze for what the underlying beliefs are. And then change that belief into something that doesn't make it so hard. You're not broken. You are worthy. That guy just wasn't for you. And I know that it sucks in the moment when somebody says that, because it really doesn't make it any easier unless you can integrate that belief and have the patience knowing that you just experienced, whether it's a boyfriend or a work situation or a home situation or any situation, what you just experienced was kind of like a taste test. It's like, how do you like this? And how do you like that? And again, I go back to the soup analogy. Our life is like soup. We're adding a little salt, adding a little pepper, adding a little starch, letting it sit overnight. Tomorrow we discover that was too salty, right? That work situation, that boyfriend wasn't quite right. So now we're going to identify, but I really liked these pieces. So I'm going to integrate that into my vision of the future and what I'm looking for going forward. So just appreciate all the different opportunities that we have to learn and grow and understand what it is that is right for us, and look for more of that and then some in the next situation. Resistance is futile. What you resist persists, so don't resist it. The fighting it and the turmoil that we create in the worry and the anxiety, and what if this next relationship fails again, and what if I'm unhappy and I'm trapped in this new job, or I'm trapped in this new home, or what if I never heal from this addiction? What if I never heal from this disease? The what ifs, again, we're in our mind and we're projecting on the future something we could never figure out. When we have to drop into our hearts so that our heart can start to regulate our thought processes and come from a place of acceptance and surrender and detachment instead of that resistance. And it's funny because I talk about it and I feel it. It's like I feel you guys. You can feel the tension, at least in my throat. I mean, it's going to be specific to everyone where you feel tension, but resistance is futile. It does nothing. It creates disease in the body, discomfort. And so we need to shift into acceptance and love the crap out of it, even if we don't love it right now. As we move forward in that way, we will learn to do so. Get it out. My favorite thing is journaling. I absolutely love journaling. Obviously, that's not going to be for everybody. Maybe talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, take a walk. Some people like to burn their journal entries. Whatever you need to do to get it outside of your body in some form of expression. Maybe you like to go hit baseball at the batting cage. No idea where that came from. I'm not a baseball person, so if that was for you, let me know. But there's ways, right? Like kickboxing, go for a run, get some exercise, throw stones into the lake or the ocean. Find a gesture that is getting this out, right? Have the intention of, as I throw this stone, I am throwing this issue and surrendering it to God and the universe, because this is without my control and I'm going to have to let it go either way. So it's beyond me. I choose to let it go, right? And it is that intention that's going to help to release it from your body and your awareness. Self-care, one of the go-to tips in most of my videos, but I'm going to keep saying it until we all do it on a consistent basis. But love yourself the way your mom would love you. If you had the flu and you were crawling into bed with your mom and she were to take care of you for the entire day, how would she take care of you? Is she going to make you some soup? Is she going to get you a warm washcloth? She's going to give you a hug and a kiss on your forehead. Do those things for yourself. You can't quite kiss your forehead, but find ways to nurture yourself the way your mom would nurture you, or if you are a mom, the way you would nurture your kids. And just remember that inner child never goes away and it never stops needing your love and attention. And so we have to have that softness and that love for ourselves as we nurture ourselves through the letting go process. Connection is really, really important. We need people to heal, and we need each other. And I have a video on connection. I'll link that as well. But connection is so healing. And we, especially in my situations in life and my experience, I can journal something and I'll definitely feel a lot better about it. But if I go talk to a friend, there is something that happens. It's an unseen energetic exchange where that reciprocating energy helps to heal likely you as well as the other person. So get out, get connection, even if it's new people. If you're going through a situation where you've lost most of your go-to friends, use Meetup. Facebook is a great way. I'd highly recommend in-person connection if you can. Obviously, times are changing and that's not always easy, but Zoom call if you can, if you can't be in person, but really try to make an extra effort for connecting with people as close to as person as you can if that's not feasible. Kind of along with self-care is creating joy. Don't forget to create fulfillment and create a nurturing and have fun. There's so many so many things in our lives that we don't realize are substitute for fulfillment. For a long, long time, my life was challenging, and I didn't want to address the toxic relationship. I didn't want to address the job that I didn't like, or the limitation on my physical freedom, my freedom to move about. And because I didn't want to address all these different pieces, I ended up self-medicating. And sometimes it was shopping, sometimes it was social media, sometimes it was too much wine. And at the end of the day, I didn't realize at the time, and I do now looking back, hindsight's 2020, right? But it was that lack of fulfillment. It was that lack of meeting my soul's desire. And that's everything that we're all about here is we're going to have that dark night of the soul. We're going to have depression. We're going to have anxiety. We're going to have that pointless, hopeless, is life worth living anymore feeling if we're not able to fulfill ourselves. And even food addiction, we try to fill this hole that we don't understand with all of these other things, looking for what is the answer deep down inside, knowing that none of it's really cutting it. And when we start fulfilling or finding fulfillment and meeting our own needs, creating joy, having fun, go for a hike, whatever it is. And I know for me at one point, I'm a very type A person. It's very difficult to do anything without an agenda and an intention and a strategy and a purpose and a checklist, right? Like, I didn't know how to have fun. It was way too rigid and way too strict. And when I had the intention to create more joy in my life, to pursue my passion, find my fulfillment, I was like, where do I go? What do I do? I have no idea. Like, somebody tell me what to do. And it doesn't work that way. Only you know what's going to create joy. Only you know what's going to fulfill you. And it's okay if you don't know upfront. It's okay if the first time you sit down to make that list, there's only 3 things on it. Start there. And then we're going to have to branch out. And sometimes we have to even push ourselves to do things that we might not want to do, especially if you're in hermit mode or you're feeling depression or anxiety. Getting out there, getting over that hump is going to be harder. But if you know that the solution to your problems, your depression, your hermit mode, your anxiety is on the other side of that, just push through once. Just one time. And it's like they say, it's harder to get to the gym than it is actually to work out. It's going to be the same scenario. It's going to be harder to go out with those people and those friends, or it's going to be harder to get there than it is to actually be with them. And you're going to likely find, if it's right for you, that was fulfilling, and you'll feel a lighter sense of relief when you're done. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it, right? Like, this is not about the shoulds. I'm not going to should all over you. This is about finding what feeds your soul so that you don't feel the need to hang on to things that aren't serving you, so that you can let go, you can release. Your tank needs to be full with the things that you were designed for, and then we won't feel the need to hang on to everything else that doesn't serve us. A lot of time on that one, but it's clearly important. So create joy, find fulfillment, have more fun, spend time doing things that nourish your soul. And, again, maybe a bath or a massage. Know that there's something better for you out there, that whatever is leaving for a reason, and that it is for your highest good. And I know, again, that sucks. It doesn't make it any easier when you hear somebody say that. But shift your perspective around why you think you need it too. And look at what need you're filling with it. And is there another more resourceful way that you can meet that need? I can speak from experience almost pretty much every time. I can't really think of a time when something left my life and it wasn't replaced with something better. So just know that, the vacuum, the hole in between sucks. I'm not good at patience either. But when it comes, you're going to look back and you're going to go, yep, 100%, absolutely is for the better. This is way better than it was. So just trust that as you let go, you're making space for better and better things. Yes, know that it's for your higher good, even when it feels like crap. That was my note. Create mantras that counter the painful thoughts. So again, kind of going back to thought management, just remember that the thoughts that are making you feel yucky are not true. There's something inaccurate about them, and it's so multifaceted. It's not always the exact opposite. Just replace this word and you're going to feel better. You got to really look at the nuances and try things on and try mantras that you believe. I'm not about, saying things that are untrue that we don't believe, because it doesn't do any good. It's a waste of time. But really look for and give it some effort. Give it an honest go and try to find the silver lining, the positive perspective, and replace those thoughts that are making you feel like crap. Physical distance, if it is a person or a situation that you can get away from, but you find yourself continuing to go back to it, you're going to have to create physical distance. So create the physical distance to get you away from whatever situation you're not letting go of, if that's possible. Sometimes it's a job and you just have to stay there for a certain amount of time before you can start the new one, or same with the home. But in the sense of a breakup, unfriend them on Facebook, right? Disconnect from social media, delete their phone number, whatever you need to do to really send that message to God in the universe. I am done. I'm fully letting go. And here is this empty space. Now fill it for me. Because if you keep hanging on to it, it's never quite an empty space. And so it won't be filled until you've truly let go. Accept that you may have to meet your own needs, and that the person or situation that you're letting go of is no longer going to be able to do that for you. You may not always get the apology or the closure that you're looking for. And so we have to accept that that situation has run its course, it has served its purpose, and it's done. That looking for that closure or looking for that apology is not going to serve you. It's going to hold you back, and it's going to keep the wound open. It's going to keep you from healing. And so when we can say, okay, I understand that this is not going to happen, this is the need that I have, and then start to look for resourceful ways to meet that need, then you can finally allow that wound to heal. Accept that it may not go the way you want it to go. When in life have we ever been able to 100% project exactly how things are going to go? So we just need to accept that, and especially in the year 2021, we have never been asked to be more flexible and to be more agile and to be more willing to accept that today is different than yesterday, and to let go of control, that stranglehold on life. Being a control freak doesn't work out well for anybody, and it doesn't work in life either. So we really just have to surrender and accept that things are not always going to go the way we'd hope. We can ask for it to be the way we'd like, but then we have to detach and surrender and release and allow for whatever the universe and God is bringing us. And then forgive. Forgive is just like letting go. Honor the path of the person or the situation, and know that it served its purpose perfectly, and just say thank you and love the crap out of it. Forgive, let go, surrender, release, right? This is all for you. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for anybody else. And that doesn't mean you have to talk to them. It doesn't mean you have to say that to them in person. You don't have to go back and say, I forgive you, job, right? Like, it just doesn't always work that way. So forgiveness is for you. Release it as best you can and let go. And if you really need some reminders, watch Frozen. Elsa will give you that reminder and get it stuck in your head. She's like, let it go. Sending so much love, you guys. You know where to find me if you need me. Yeah, I'll see you on the flip side. Much love. Namaste.